But you could see just how hot this fire got across the driveway into this neighbor's garage. You could see that melted siding over there, just showing how much heat was coming off of this fire. As far as the prosecution goes, were there any main pieces of evidence that they presented, they would say against Allison, that seemed like big pieces for you?
No.
Not one thing stuck out to you in the prosecution that you were really having to consider?
Not really, no.
People had signs with their names on it saying they will never be forgotten, but people also had signs claiming that Richard Allen is innocent. Now is the first time that we could actually see the hole that this man was stuck in. You could see on either side of the hole here, there are mounds of dirt that are very high. Responding officers had little to go on, as it was estimated the body was in the water for 4 to 6 weeks.
Which would be included in that expansion, Marcus.
Dirk and Alyssa, I'm here on West Main Street, which, as you just said, isn't included in the boundaries of the district right now, but will be if that map is redrawn. If you're hitting the road tonight or tomorrow morning, chances are the roads will be slick. And not because of snow, but because of freezing rain. How has the work that you've done with them, the resources that they provide and everything like that, how has that impacted what you do here? Corn sweat has gone from a very hyper-local phenomenon to more of a regional one, and that may be due to a warming climate. The message that Roller Dome North wants to spread is simply that this is a place for skating, not for fighting. Mitchell's and Flashbacks are just 2 out of 5 tenants that'll be here. On this front side of the building, we're facing south toward downtown Fort Wayne. In the cat room at the Humane Society of Noble County with Marlin, Marcus Truscio, Wayne 15 News.
Wayne 15's Marcus Truscio is live in the Bloomingdale neighborhood. He tells us what a neighbor says she saw and heard.
Yeah, Dirk and Alyssa, we're going to get to what that neighbor said in just a second, but first I just want to show you what remains here. This is where the fire was. This was a garage, but you can't really tell exactly what it was because of all the damage. The only indication that it was a garage is this charred car that is sitting at the end of the driveway that is completely undrivable now, but you could see just how hot this fire got across the driveway into this neighbor's garage. You could see that melted siding over there, just showing how much heat was coming off of this fire. And if we come across the alley, almost about 20 feet here, these trash bags that were sitting out last night have melted, exposing what is now inside of those trash bags here. And then if we come to the end of the alley, all the way down here, this garage was full of fireworks, according to the Fort Wayne Fire Department. So those were shooting out as the fire was going. And down here at the alley, you can still see some of that packaging showing those fireworks. And the neighbor I spoke to that lives just over here told me that she has never seen a fire like this.
I went outside and was calling the police, and the fire grew and explosions kept going off, bigger explosions, and the fire just went out of hand, and basically the whole place was inflamed. And there was basically the whole neighborhood was out here.
This fire is still under investigation. It is not known exactly what caused it yet, but thankfully there were no injuries. That neighbor I spoke to said there were people letting off fireworks out here about an hour before the fire started, but as far as she saw, no one was out here at the time the fire broke out. Live just north of downtown Fort Wayne, Marcus Truscio, Wayne 15 News.
This is where we lived for almost 10 years and raising my family, and it's overwhelming. I lost my dad 2 days ago, and to lose my dad and know that all the memories of having my dad here.
But watching a place with a decade's worth of memories being torn down was also relieving for the former homeowner, James Clark.
Knowing that nobody else is going to have to endure what me and my wife and my kids and my in-laws and all my friends and family that helped me every time that we flooded, knowing that this is the final chapter.
Clark purchased this home on a quiet street just outside Decatur in 2014. It was a dream come true until the next spring's rains came.
My family, we were gathering to go to Fort Wayne to do some shopping, and it had been raining for a while. Right before we're getting ready to leave, my son says, "Dad, I don't think we're going to be able to go to Fort Wayne." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Look outside." He goes, "I don't think we'll be able to get our vehicles out of the driveway. There's a bunch of water."
Soon enough, water wound up in the house.
The water would actually come through and dump over from the creek, and then the water from the front of the house would join up and it would just totally fill my house up with water.
Even though no serious flood history was disclosed in the listing, that would happen about a half dozen times.
We'd have to move out of our house. It was so mentally draining. I mean, we just were stressed out for the full time that we lived here.
The Clarks were ready to walk away, willing to take a complete loss.
That guy, I tell you what, he's a prayer answer.
That guy is Rodney Rankenberger, the executive director of the Maumee River Basin Commission.
This project here was a flood buyout project that we wrote the grant. In this case here, I think they flooded like 8 different times. And, you know, they didn't know where to turn.
Rankenberger says Clark and his family are particularly deserving of this buyout.
He's a fire medic for the city of Decatur. When he's on duty and this area's flooding, he can't just come home and try to protect his own home. You know, he had to be on duty and serve the residents of Decatur.
He also wants to use this as an opportunity to spread awareness.
When you're looking at acquiring a piece of property, thoroughly investigate whether it's in a flood zone or not.
We know that this is the end of the process, and it makes us feel a lot better.
In 2023, the Maumee River Basin Commission was part of the reason why the Indiana legislature passed a law requiring sellers to disclose to the buyer any flooding history of a home. The Clarks are now renting a home, but plans to build another permanent family home are in the works. Marcus Truscio, Wayne 15 News.
We're learning more tonight as police from multiple agencies are still investigating yesterday's shooting in Fort Wayne that led to a chase.
That chase then led to an officer-involved shooting in Whitley County. Wayne 15's Marcus Truscio speaks with someone who saw the police chase and the following standoff.
Officers were called to this quiet street, Hinton Drive, just northwest of downtown Fort Wayne, on reports of a shooting. The original call came in just before 7:30 p.m. Easter Sunday.
One of the callers described a vehicle fleeing the scene. Officers began pursuing that vehicle as other officers arrived and found an adult male suffering from apparent gunshot wounds.
That police chase would lead officers across county lines into Whitley County, where Dina Joseph lives.
We heard the sirens first, and then we saw the blue car and the cop cars from our kitchen window. And then we saw another set of cop cars come by a few minutes later, and so we knew something big was going on.
Not far from her home, the suspect crashed. Joseph said that it's in this field where the suspect crashed his vehicle. This is just to the side of State Road 9 south of Columbia City, miles away from where the chase started in Fort Wayne. And it's in that field that the suspect opened fire on police.
During some course of the events, there was an exchange of gunfire from our officers.
Kind of another standoff ensued.
By this time, Joseph was supposed to be headed to a friend's house.
And so they had the road blocked off here, and you could only go left.
And the services were requested from our emergency services team, crisis response team, just to end the thing safely. Once they did their process there, they find out that the suspect was ultimately deceased.
Joseph was shocked this was happening in her neighborhood.
We couldn't believe all the police cars that continued to come, and you could see the drones flying above. And so from the yard here, it would have just been over that bank of tree, not these closer trees, but the farther away trees. And you could hear the gunshots and the sirens from here.
As for what started all of this, that's still under investigation.
We're not sure exactly what led to the argument here on the scene yet. All we know is that the 2 adult males, I guess, got into an argument, but for some reason the one shot the other and then fled.
Marcus Truscio, Wayne 15 News.
So Fort Wayne police are investigating the original shooting in Fort Wayne. The Whitley County officer-involved shooting is being investigated by Indiana State Police. It's unclear which department the officers who fired at the suspect work for.
Construction on the Google Data Center in southeast Fort Wayne is nearing a new phase. Through last week, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management was accepting public comment regarding Google's application to build on 2.5 acres of protected wetlands. IDEM received more than 400 pages worth of public comments. Several comments requested a public hearing, and more postcards request the same. One even was sent by a 7-year-old urging the government to spare the wetlands. But IDEM approved Google's application on Tuesday and ruled there will be no public hearing. The approval allows the data center project to move into Phase 2 and build on the wetlands. Phase 1 involved the construction of the first data center building. Phase 2 is proposed to include the construction of 5 additional buildings, totaling nearly 1.5 million square feet. That's about 35 acres. Phase 2 also includes utility infrastructure, internal drives, and stormwater facilities. In a notice filed by IDEM's Office of Water Quality last month, the agency says, quote, "It is not possible to construct the data center facility on the site without isolated wetland impacts." Not all comments sent to IDEM were in opposition. One person emailed and asked, would Google be willing to replace wetlands? If so, I'm all for it. Google will be doing something similar. The LLC that filed the application for them says it will purchase more than 4 acres of wetlands in northern Allen County to mitigate the impact at the data center site. According to the latest filings, construction on the data center is expected to go through 2029. In southeast Fort Wayne, Marcus Truscio, Wayne 15 News.